Everybody, and welcome to our presentation today. Today we're going to revisit the Wave PTX operation and the offering that we have for you guys. We are really privileged, and thank you, David, to have David Johnson with us from Motorola. This is David's forte. It's his world. Any questions you guys have on this going forward, guys, please raise your hands. Let's keep this quite interactive. We will have a question and answer session at the end. But this is a product that we really need to concentrate on and see what we can do with it and take it forward, guys, in your businesses. It's just another tool that you can put into your toolbox to give you the ability to provide solutions for problems that you guys are probably going to encounter in your endeavors to raise business. So without any further ado, I'm going to hand over to David. And David, thank you very much. It's all yours for now. And let's see what David's got to offer.
Thank you very much, Grant. Yeah, it's an honour to be able to present the Wave PTX product to your ACE resellers, Grant. So thank you for the opportunity. So over the next 45 minutes, probably 50 minutes, and then with some questions, I'll be going as a refresher of Wave PTX. For those of you who sort of have some experience with Wave, you'll know some of the information there. I'll try and give some examples of where we're actually seeing it being used successfully in Australia and New Zealand, and also overseas as well. And then also give you some areas where we think we can grow with this product. Okay, so first of all, introduction to myself. I'm based in the Melbourne head office for Motorola Solutions, but also do travel, well, looking just to travel the first trip now that the things are reopening now. So happy to meet up with you if there's any sort of opportunities, or you want to have an in-person discussion, or go through some of the Wave features. That's always, that offer is always open from Motorola. We are looking to grow the Wave business. And we see the Wave as our only distributor, and you as the Wave as the ACE resellers is a key area for growing this Wave opportunity that we've got in Australia. So over today we'll go through introduction, some features and benefits of Wave, some elements of the solutions, where to find more information, and then into some questions and answers. I do plan to go over this fairly quickly, these slides. We will provide this material after the presentation if you need to go through in some more detail on some of the slides. Okay, so broadband push to talk. Why are we talking about it? So one of these things now is really, it's a new fast growing market segment. It's complementary to radio. So if you've been selling radio solutions, the Wave PTX is really designed to be an add-on to a motor turbo radio system. We've lost some customers to mobile phones. We're now looking at how we can get those customers back to be a radio type user, using a radio sort of service as an over-the-top on mobile network. We're also looking at new businesses with non-radio users. So we are finding that we're actually getting some new opportunities with Wave PTX that were not an existing radio user. So expanding, I suppose, the market share there. So in terms of Wave PTX, why is this a product that we think's got legs, and then it is growing in this market? So really it's solving problems of complex sales cycles, system setup, and user training. For a demonstration, you can just tell someone to download the apps from the App Store, and you can provision an account for them, and it can be up and demonstrating it in minutes. Coverage, in terms of radio networks, to build out large coverage areas is a very expensive proposition. Wave PTX gives you all the radio-like features, but it runs as an over-the-top service on an existing carrier network, and carrier or Wi-Fi and/or Wi-Fi network. So it gives you the ability to get wide area coverage with sort of no upfront investment. Also, the operational overheads, time, cost, and money. So really, the ability to program Wave PTX from the Wave portal, and then push that out very quickly and reprogram your radios is something that you can't do in a standard radio environment in terms of pushing mass configurations, firmware updates out very quickly to devices. It's also designed to sort of give you improve safety for people. So people going out lone worker or roles where they need to communicate back, the push-to-talk solution can help companies take responsibility towards employees and their public. And then, as I mentioned before, the large upfront expenses and unknown running costs of some of the radio networks can be removed with Wave PTX. So, in terms of Wave PTX, what are some of the features and benefits? First, let's say, what is Wave PTX? So it's a network-independent broadband push-to-talk subscription service from Motorola Solutions. So it uses a cloud to extend two-way radio communications to smartphone, tablets, PC, and Wave PTX radios. It can also be used standalone without a radio system. Helps businesses and enterprise organizations work more efficiently and effectively, and it eliminates the barriers between devices, networks, locations, and lets everyone be part of the conversation. It's actually hosted in the Microsoft Azure clouds in Sydney. So it's all running in Australia to enable lower latency, and it's running on the largest network cellular mobile operator in Australia. So really the idea of Wave PTX is network independent broadband push to talk. You can communicate at the push of the button. It allows you to bring your own device and your own network from a smartphone, tablet, or a desktop. You can use your own device and the Wave PTX mobile app to provide PTT, and that's being on Android or our iOS devices, or you can use one of the Motorola devices in the service. So the Wave PTX radio, which is the TLK100 portable version, or the mobile version, the TLK150, they come with a SIM card embedded. Then we also have our Lex L11, which is our sort of higher tier mobile, dedicated sort of mobile phone device with a push to talk button. We are bringing a new device out later on this year called the Evolve, which is sort of a lower tier than the Lex, so it'll be at a better price point. And we've also recently introduced the Moto Turbo Ion, which is our DMR and our LTE and Wi-Fi device. That at the moment can operate with Wave. The next release coming out shortly will enable you to use a PTT button with Wave, and then it'll be automatically seamless roaming towards the end of the year. So you'll be able to PTT and it'll just choose to go out on the most available network, be it DMR or be it on LTE Wave. The other aspect that we have is the Moto Turbo radios, so the DM4601, 4801, the DP series. They support Wi-Fi. You can run a Wave client on that device. So say you're going into an underground car park, you lose your DMR network, but you've got a Wi-Fi access there. You can change your radio to Wave mode, picks up the Wi-Fi access, and you can communicate back into your radio network using the Moto Turbo radio device. So great from a perspective if you're selling mainly a radio network and you just need to have some coverage holes filled in, then the Moto Turbo radio running Wi-Fi allows you to do that.
I'll just jump in there, Dave. Guys, remember that is the O1E radio. So if you don't have an O1E radio, your radio is not Wi-Fi capable. So the old non-E radios, the O1s, don't have Wi-Fi, only the O1Es.
Thanks, Grant. Okay, so for the Wave PTX, a lot of the development Motorola has done is really around the easy to use and manage. So having a portal that can be a multi-tiered. So ACE have a account, and then they can provide a reseller account under that, and then you can have your customers under your account there. So there's no, if you need to make changes, there's no need to come back to ACE or Motorola. That can all be provisioned from the Wave PTX portal. And it's all centrally managed. So the talk groups, over-the-air updates. You can add subscriptions in terms of the BYD and the dispatcher. They're on a month-by-month. Add them, remove them as required. The TLK 100 and 150s you can add, and they're with a 2-year subscription term. You can communicate across multiple platforms, so the integration to the Moto Turbo radio systems and to non-Moto Turbo via a Vocality radio over IP box. In terms of the target verticals, so the areas that we're targeting, and I'll talk a little bit here around where we've actually seen success. So probably the biggest user at the moment is for hotel quarantine security in New Zealand. So a security company doing all the hotel security. They've got quite a few hundred TLK 100 devices. So there's a security vertical there, and that was really great because they had to get the security had to get up and quick running for this hotel quarantine. So the TLKs were a great solution in that they could be provisioned very quickly and provided to the security companies. We're also seeing success in hire car companies, so your Avis, your Budget of this world. So when they need coverage from both their sort of places at the airport and then where they're actually storing some of their vehicles or servicing some of their vehicles, the ability to communicate between those different locations has been a good user and a very heavy user of the service as well. Looking at the amount of minutes that they use up on the service, it's surprisingly high. Another area we're seeing quite a lot of success in is the transportation logistics around the garbage removal, the pickups, the garbage trucks. We've had quite a few of those fitted out with Wave PTX with TLK 150s. We're also seeing tow truck companies as well. It seems to be quite a good vertical for Wave PTX. Some of those are just using TLK 100. They're not opting for the TLK 150s installed in the vehicles. Some are, but some are just using the TLK 100s with an accessory in the vehicle. We're also seeing some uptake in the healthcare industry, some sort of security aspects around the healthcare. We've recently won a sugar refinery as well, and a train line servicing the sugar industry. So there's getting some good vertical uptakes in there. We're also seeing long haul sort of trucking and busing as well, regional buses, metropolitan buses, but also trucking companies. There's some large opportunities that we're working through at the moment. So in terms of security side of it, before COVID hit, we were having a good uptake in events as well. So both through the Motorola sort of event, Motorola's rentals, and a lot of other rental companies as well using the Wave PTX service. Now that obviously has taken a hit for COVID, that is slowly sort of coming back online as more events come online. So that was some of the verticals. In terms of the instant group communication, so we're really saying choose the right device for the role and the environment. So the front office could be a tablet, in the field could be a smartphone, job site could be a radio, and in the dispatch could be running the desktop with the Wave dispatcher. Some of the elements of the solution. So we've got three main components. So we've got our Wave PTX mobile app, so Android, iOS, and that's really the rapid deployment. If someone's already got devices or you're supplying them with a device, you can put the Android or iOS app on that. They can download that from the Play Store, and then you can provision that via either using a phone number or an activation code. There's a dispatch application, which allows you to dispatch from a standard web browser with a plugin, and that allows you to use voice dispatch, use the video feature, and also do the location tracking from that dispatcher. Then we have our Wave PTX and TLK radio. So really the ideas behind the TLK 100 and the TLK 150 is to really get the benefits of a rugged device on an Australia-wide network without having to go into a screen with all the mobile device management requirements. It's just a familiar form factor with I can change my channel, I've got my volume controls, I've got my buttons, I've got my push to talk button. So it looks and feels like a radio. So there's a very small learning curve moving from a two-way radio, standard two-way radio, to a TLK 100 or a TLK 150, which looks like a traditional mobile form factor device. So both of these come with SIM cards and they're also Wi-Fi compatible. So really the key points behind that is they're easy to use and manage, they're built for the job, and Australia-wide PTT, given obviously you need to be within coverage of the Telstra network. Okay, so using the mobile client. So it's a single application and it has multiple media. So we can do PTT, we can do location services, and location services you can view the location on that device of all the other Wave PTX users. We have real-time presence, text messaging, photo and video sharing, and we have voice message fallback. So say you can't reach a user, you can actually leave a voice message for them, and when they're online, then that message will come through. So what we haven't really talked about much when we're talking about Wave PTX with the mobile app is that we have two different modes that the smartphone device can run in. There's PTX radio mode and there's the standard mode. So the PTX radio mode, the default is a standard one. If you're using Wave PTX radio mode, it's sort of designed to give you look and feel of a conventional radio. So you've got that concept of the zones and then the channels within the zones. So if you're using, say, the Lex device with the PTT button and the channel rocker on the top, then the ability to have it more operate like a radio in that scenario, you can enable that from the portal. And just showing what the standard mode looks like here. You have your screen little icon with a PTT button. You can scanning, volume control, speaker on and off, end call. Down the bottom you have your message. You have your instant personal alert. So that's like a less of an emergency feature, but still I'm going to press that and I need attention. Location. You can have image and videos and your audio recording. And you can also add contacts in there. So, and that can be from your phone contacts as well. And then in the other view here, we have our history, our favorites, contacts, groups, and our map. And then we have our users here and our different talk groups as well, and our history detail. If we now go to the PTT radio mode, we have our channel number down towards the button. We have our zone, and we have the same buttons on the previous screen here, our message, location, image, recording. We have our scanning. We have a supervisor icon, a talker name, group avatar, and a menu view. So this menu is really this PTT radio mode designed for like the Motorola Lex L11, and when we bring our sort of lower tier Lex to the market, the Evolve, this is the mode that you'd traditionally set up for a device that's got sort of PTT and channel change capabilities, hardware capability. Integrated messaging, so we've got the ability for sending texts, pictures, video, audio, file attachments, and that's all time stamped, and you can read the communication threads, and you can reply forward to also, really it's not just a push to talk app, it's also a ability to do messaging and photos and attaching videos, and also you can store and forward if the device is turned off or out of range. So you're trying to send it to someone, they're not available, it will actually send it to them once they're online. On the location and mapping side, so you can share your location with an individual or a group. So basically in the click on the box here with a little arrow, and that will then say who do you want to share your location with, and you can send that to talk group, a user. You can also view other users and status on a map. So, and the important point here, the ability to view other users' locations is enabled, disabled by the administrator. So you could say, right, I only want the control room users to be able to see the location of the staff out in the field. So that's fully configurable when you're setting up Wave PTX for your customer. You can also find an address and drop a pin on a map and share. So that's an example of, I'm going to go to a job or a site visit. You could drop the pin where you're going and then share that with your colleagues. All the history, past communications is stored on the device as well. In terms of the Wave PTX dispatcher, so this is centralized communications anywhere, the catch cry there. So it's a secure internet logging. You can do it on a standard web browser, Internet Explorer 11 or Chrome. There's no application to download or install, although there is a plugin that will automatically install on your browser. And then automatically, there's no requirement to do things like updating manually of the dispatcher application. That's all automatically updated and pushed through from the cloud-based service. In terms of PTT communications, so the dispatcher, you have your call activity window, your one-to-one call or your group calls. You have your monitored talk groups, so you can have up to 8 monitored talk groups in the view here, and you can drag ones on or drag ones off, set up the monitoring for them, and then you can also set levels of priority. So you can see that there's priority level 1, priority level 2, and priority level 3 set up there. So the dispatcher can leave a lower priority call when a higher priority call comes in there. You have your contacts and groups and your missed calls and alert and your call logs. We mentioned the messaging on the mobile app side of it, the Android or iOS. This is the dispatcher version. So you have your multimedia thread messages. You can attach photos, videos, audio, or documents. And that's by going from, instead of the map, you go to the messages tab in the dispatcher. If we go to the map tab for the location and mapping, you can find an address or point of interest, and there you can also say within a radius of certain kilometers. You can do in-map communications. You can click on a user, you can do a call, you can send a message, you can increase their GPS or location cadence. The default on Wave PTX is 10 minutes. You can set it down to 1 minute, and that'll set it for a 24-hour period. We are going to have a permanent ability from the dispatcher to be able to set it down from 10 minutes to 1 minute in the next release, which we're hoping will come in May time. But we can, if you've got a requirement for that permanent sort of down to 1 minute, then ACE will be able to keep you updated on when that capability is coming. In terms of the location and mapping, you can also play back the route that you've taken. So you can show the beginning and ending points, and that can be based on the time frame period. One of the newer features we launched was the streaming video. So this basically gives you the ability to integrate video within the Wave PTX dispatcher and the Wave PTX iOS and Android client. It's not compatible with the TLK 150 and 100 because there's no sort of camera or screen on those devices for showing video. So with the streaming video, there's a couple different ways it can be configured. So we have what we call the push video. So a mobile user can initiate the streaming. We have the pull video, which the dispatcher can initiate the video. The video can be streamed to individuals, so a private video call, a defined group, or ad hoc groups. And you can simultaneously stream video and initiate and receive PTT calls. So just breaking down into the push and pull video. So the push video, so users and dispatchers either receive notification of incoming video stream for a manual answer, or a video barges in with a tone, which is an auto answer. So the mobile user here, you can see down the bottom, receiving a video call, and then you can click on the view stream. And it shows the video stream there, and then it shows what it looks like in the dispatcher. And as mentioned before, PTT calls can still work in parallel with the video audio. You can also set it so the video audio can be mixed, or the call audio can take priority over the video audio.
Dave, is there any specification or a minimum required as a bandwidth at your dispatcher end for this video to stream live like that?
It can work on sort of slower connection, but the video is pretty sort of stuttery. In terms of, I can look that up, Grant, and see what sort of the minimum requirements are, but it is in the guides that we've got. So
okay, so it's quite flexible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously the better bandwidth you've got up to a certain
the better it'll work.
speed, it'll work well, right? It's not a huge, like, we're not talking about 10 megabits per second requirement, but I'll come back to you with a number on that.
Thanks, Dave.
And then the pull video, this is available from dispatchers only. So this is the ability for a dispatcher, and I suppose a key point here is an authorized dispatcher to request video from a user. So that's confirm pull. So a request is sent and the video streaming starts upon the user acceptance. So if the dispatcher says, okay, I want video from that user, presses a button, and then the user on the device has to accept that pull request, and then it'll start streaming. The other one is the unconfirmed pull. So the video streaming starts automatically upon receipt of the request unless prohibited by the user. So this might be used in a situation where you've got a man down or something's happened. You could request the video stream, so you might be able to get some situational awareness of what's actually going on. Or in a security environment where someone has radioed that there's an issue, a fight's broken out, you could potentially, the dispatcher could request the pull of video without the security guard having to do anything because his hands are full involved in an altercation. The monitored talk groups show the active video streams. So this video streaming is available for demonstrations. So if you've got a requirement to sort of test this, then ACE, we can work with ACE in terms of setting up your accounts to be able to demonstrate this video streaming to your customers. Some of the use cases that was put together was around sort of the ambulance service. So regional ambulance needs to show live video to a trauma centre doctor, so they'll be able to show that video in real time to help treat the patient quickly. The air conditioner installation team, so for them to have a tool where they can instantly do video collaboration when on a job site. So really they might be there saying, oh, I haven't come across this before, and actually let's say a picture can speak 1,000 words and a video can speak more. So they can show a video of actually what's going on, and they can get some advice from their colleagues or people back in a call center area saying, right, okay, this is what you need to fix the issue. We have private security. So it could be an incident that's happening. They want to show some situational awareness of a crowd or a riot or a fight at a venue, so people out away from the venue have some situational awareness of what's going on. And then manufacturing is another area, not so much in Australia, but in some regions where they do a lot more manufacturing. That's been a good use case for the WAVE PTX video streaming. Okay, so in terms of the WAVE PTX devices, so the dedicated device that we've got, the TLK100 and the TLK150. So we'll touch on those, but really the main thing around these devices is really they're easy to use and manage. They're built for the job, and they've got Australia-wide push-to-talk. So Australia-wide push-to-talk, so really you can provision one, or you could actually just send a device out and then provision it, and you could have someone in Melbourne, someone in Sydney, someone in Brisbane, someone in Darwin, and they could all be communicating on the same talk group. And then also enhance your coverage with Wi-Fi. Say you've got a customer who is a transportation company and they go into maybe an underground loading area, they've got no cellular coverage. You can actually have, if there's a Wi-Fi network there that the device can go onto, then they can easily just switch onto that Wi-Fi network and it'll choose to get run on that Wi-Fi network. And you can actually set the priorities of what should take preference, Wi-Fi or LTE. So the devices, they're built tough, so they're designed to work in harsh environments. They have location tracking, Wi-Fi connectivity. They also use the SL2600 accessories. So if you've got any SL2600 devices there, you can use those same accessories. Have up to 18 hours of battery life. And then they have got a screenless design. So that was an intentional design point to not have a, to make it a standard screen that you can run your Android or iOS apps on, because this is a purpose-built device for communicating and for tracking of the user. And that seems to be, this is a much larger sort of selling item, I suppose, compared to either bring your own devices or Lexol 11s or other devices with push-to-talk buttons. Seems to be the simplicity, the ruggedness, and the ability just to use these devices, and they're provisioned through a portal without any device management. It works well and quickly. Okay, so in terms of fleet management, so whether you're managing 10 devices or a fleet of 10,000, really you can minimize administration. So you can change talk routes, modify device names, add Wi-Fi credentials, disable devices, all in seconds, not hours, without touching a single device. And Motorola has been continually sort of investing in trying to make this experience better and faster. So from bulk uploading from CSV files to cloning, the ability to clone devices based on other ones you already configured. It's a lot of work going into portals for this. And one of those is we've now got a rental portal. So if you've got a rental fleet for your business, we've made it so you can have these devices and then rent them out to customers and then pull them back into your main fleet and manage that rental aspect a lot easier. A lot of that work was done around some big rental opportunities we've had overseas. One of them is that the TLKs will be used to run the Tokyo Olympics. So a lot of the development's been based around that very sizable opportunity for provisioning thousands of these devices to run for a big event. In terms of the TLK portable radio, so one thing to note here is the external antenna. Now, I don't think that can be understated, the difference actually having that external antenna. The feedback we get from a lot of people is, I actually get coverage and good quality coverage in areas where I don't get that with my my iOS device, my Android device that doesn't have an external antenna. So I think just purely having the physics of having the external antenna makes a big difference to coverage. It's got the channel change at the top, power switch, push to talk button on the side, and it's got a hidden LED display. So it'll show you the channel number. It'll actually show you the channel name as well. It'll scroll across. I won't go through all the specs here, but you can have basically 96 channels and up to 300 contacts. So inbox accessories, you get the device, you get the carry holster, you get a lithium-ion battery, and then you get a wall charger. In terms of accessories, there's a single unit drop-in accessory, there's a 6-bay multi-bay charger, we have some antenna bands, we have some wrist straps, some carry holsters, and then we have the different range of earpieces available as well. So some of the case studies, so rental car companies, I mentioned that is actually one of the largest sort of verticals we've got so far in Australia. Sydney Airport or Avis, a lot of the airports are using it. And as I mentioned, there's a lot of calls going through on that network. So it surprised me how much they're actually relying on these devices. And the usage is picking up again. So hopefully that's a sign of things are starting to return, at least to some normality for airports. Construction, we've actually got some usage for this around sort of some crews working in the construction industry, especially ones that need sort of wide area coverage, ability to talk back from one point to another point. We've actually, in New Zealand, there's been some sort of rapid sort of response teams that actually go out and fix up the power poles. So sort of utility teams using them, and some good pictures we've got of them using these devices up power poles and with sort of really windy, wet conditions. So and they've been saying that these devices work when they're waterlogged. When they're raining, they've been very happy with the good audio quality and the ruggedness of the devices. We are looking to get some Australian, New Zealand based case studies. So you have some more tools to be able to go out and say, right, this is how these devices are getting used. Radio rental services, I touched on that, but that is a key market for this device and where we've seen success for these devices. If there is a requirement where you're only going to be renting them at a certain time of the year, then Motorola's happy to have a discussion around with ACES to around okay, how we're going to support that in terms of potentially turning off the subscription for a certain times each month, or being a bit flexible on how we do our billing behind that. So some of the feedback from our customer testimonials. So audio quality is excellent, the device management, easy to learn, train employees, using Wi-Fi on upper floors, zero distraction device, more time on tools and not toys and smartphones. Coverage is great, perfect connection with zero dead spots. And obviously that's dependent on the carrier's coverage, but the ability to have the coverage capability where you couldn't potentially get in with radio is good. And then also the point I touched on there, where you traditionally don't get mobile phone usage, then try it with a TLK 100. You might actually get coverage because of that external antenna. Okay, onto the TLK 150, which is the portable radio. No, it shouldn't say that. It should be mobile radio up the top there. But this is sort of familiar form factor. You've got your power button, you've got your audio accessory port, which is an RJ45 style connector. You've got your 2-line display, your volume, your contactless button, your menu arcade, and your 2 programmable buttons. You've got a dedicated emergency button on the TLK 150. On the TLK 100, you can actually program the menu button to be an emergency button. And then you've got your channel up, down. Okay. One point to note that we actually made a dedicated wideband microphone for this device because we've got higher bandwidth using this. To get the best audio quality, we have a wideband microphone for use with the TLK 150. So it comes with the microphone, it comes with the LTE dash glass mount antenna, and it comes with the GPS dash mount antenna as well, and then the power cable. It doesn't come with any mounting hardware because there are a few different options. We didn't include one as default in the box. So some of the audio accessories, optional audio accessories is the wideband visor, is a visor mic, the foot switch, the WM500 wireless Bluetooth RSM, the RSM that comes in the speaker mic that comes in the box, and then a push to talk button that we can have. So if someone wanted one of these on the steering wheel, you can mount that to a steering wheel so they can just press the torque without taking their hands off the wheel. We have an external speaker, 13 watt. We have the antennas that come with the device, cables, and then the mounting accessories for the TLK150 as well. Okay, in terms of the Wave PTX, comes in two packages, the standard packages and then the safeguard package. So the safeguard package gives you some extra features. So the main one of these has been the LMR interoperability. So the ability to talk to Moto Turbo and non-Moto Turbo radio systems. It also allows you to do ambient listening and discrete listening, a remote user check. You can enable and disable the device. And you can also set up geofence-based talk groups. So say you had a quarry, you say, right, anyone who enters this should go to the quarry talk group. You can set up on a map a geofence, and then if you've got the safeguard package, then as they drive into that area, their radio can automatically switch to that geofence-based talk group. Some features on the Wave safeguard package is the ambient listening, discrete monitoring, the operability, the LMR interoperability, location-based temporary groups, and then user enable and the remote user check. Okay, we've talked about connecting to LMR. So how do we actually do that? So we have wireline interface through to the Moto Turbo radio client. The systems we support: IP Site Connect, Capacity Max, Capacity Plus, single and multi-site, and our Tetra Dimetra Express. So they're the systems that you can connect to using the what we call a wireline direct IP integration. The box that we use to get this direct integration is an off-the-shelf box. So Wave PTX Radio Gateway, WRG software, and it comes with a software preloaded, and it supports 10 concurrent voice paths. So you can have 10 simultaneous private or group calls going through that box between your DMR system or your Dimetra Express system and your Wave system. This box is compatible with Capacity Plus, single site, multi-site, and Capacity Max. It's not compatible with conventional or IP Site Connect at the moment. We are working on trying to include support for conventional IP Site Connect, but at the moment we need to use what we call our multi-tenant radio gateway. And there's 3 variants of this. There's the 10 talk paths, equivalent to what we had in the previous slide. We have 50 talk paths and 200 talk paths. So this is really designed if the larger ones are designed if, say, you're a network operator and you want to have multiple different Wave PTX customers connecting through to your one radio network. So if someone's running, say, a large Capacity Max or a Capacity Plus multi-site as a network operator model, then you can choose to install this, what we call a multi-tenant. The one back here, the off-the-shelf option only allows this to be configured in one Wave PTX customer account in the portal, whereas these ones allows you, as you'll have your sort of reseller account, and then under that you can link up different customers to one of these same gateway boxes. And how that would look for IP Site Connect: you have your IP Site Connect, well, single sort of conventional system here. You have your Wave Radio Gateway here. That's where you supply your own hardware, and Motorola installs that software on there. Once we move to IP Site Connect multi-site, looks the same. Once we move into our trunking scenario, our single site, Capacity Plus, and our multi-site, then we can have the option of using the off-the-shelf gateway box. So integrating from the box here, it speaks to the radio system, and then that has an internet connection out to the Wave PTX cloud. We have our LMR devices. We have our, and another example here is our Moto Turbo PTX backup client. So this radio can be connecting within coverage LMR in our DMR system. Moves outside that, you can change to a Wi-Fi channel. It could be installed in a mobile, in a DM4601 with a LTE to Wi-Fi gateway in say a bus or a truck. So once they're on the road, they've moved away from where you've got network coverage, they can still just change to a wave zone, and then they can be talking back to the radio network. Okay, and Demetra Express, Capacity Max and Demetra Express as well there. Okay, so the portal, touched on this, but the administration it's web-based, centralized management of contacts and groups. You can access from any internet connection, set up and manage accounts, add, remove users, manage talk groups, drag and drop users onto talk groups. So the idea is you can be fully enabled as an ACE partner to be able to manage your own customers without having to go back to ACE or Motorola to say, oh, we want to add these users or set up these users. That can be done fully provisioned from the web portal. In terms of the subscription plan, so we've got the 3 different plans or 4 plans. We've got the Wave PTX mobile app, the BYOD client. We can have the safeguard package to that as an option, the video streaming as an option, and that's month by month. So when you stop for the month, then the subscription ends at the end of the month. You restart, if you sign up for that, then it's prorated from when you start the subscription in the month. So you start on the 1st of the month, that's the full month. If you do it the 15th, that's half of the month. The dispatcher, so that one is a month-by-month subscription plan as well. So you could start that, scale up if say you had an event where you needed more dispatchers, and then turn them off after you've finished using them, and that's on a monthly basis. The TLK 100 and 150s, they include the SIM card, the service, and the device management features with it, and they're on a 24-month subscription plan, and you can enable the safeguard package on that. The last the subscription was really the Moto Turbo backup client, and that's another subscription, but there is no requirement to do safeguard option there. So that sort of includes integration through to your radio network, the Moto Turbo backup client. Okay, so where to find out more information? So we have our Wave on Cloud website with a knowledge base on there, so you can go to support.waveoncloud.com. There is actually quite a lot of information on there, searchable, and includes information around the total Wave PTX offering, including troubleshooting guides. Note there are some differences between our offering in Australia and New Zealand versus the rest of the world. One of the key points being that we're the only country where the emergency button on the Wave PTX app is included in our standard offering. The rest of the countries, you have to go to the safeguard package for emergency feature to be included. But locally, we made the decision that we wanted to have the emergency capabilities of Wave on all subscriptions. Then we have demo accounts. If you've got requirements where you want to demonstrate it to a customer, then speak to ACE and they'll be able to set up some demo accounts. We also do have sort of 60-day free demonstration mentioned on our website. So if you've got any partners who you want to, any customers you want to do a 60-day demo for, then yeah, contact ACE and we can provision that. In terms of the collateral, there's a Wave PTX brochure, there's a mobile app, there's a dispatch brochure, data sheets for the TLK 100 and 150. There's a couple of different variants of those. There's one that combines both of the devices. Most of this material is available on the sort of public-facing Motorola website. So once you're on the Australian site, then you can go to Wave PTX. And otherwise, Grant, I'm sure, will be able to provide you with the collateral as well for Wave PTX. In terms of, we've got a video, we've got this presentation available, so we can make that available. And then in terms of one thing Motorola is trying to get better on is some of the social media aspects around sort of Wave, in terms of YouTube videos, LinkedIn, and I think that's something that ACE is focusing on, enabling you guys with some training videos and components on the their YouTube channel as well. Okay, last couple of slides here. So summary, Wave PTX, it's really network independent, broadband push to talk, simple, per user fee with no long-term commitments unless you're in the TLK 100 or 150, add or remove users of your business changes, and it's a cloud-based deployment. Key features, so we've got location, presence, price per user, we've got integration through to Moto Turbo and to non-Moto Turbo systems using the Systec vocality box. We have advanced security standards, and one thing I didn't mention is that most of Wave PTX is based on what we call our 3GPP standards. So in terms of the ability for us to be, people say, are you standards compliant? Then yes, we are. A lot of the components are standards compliant. Some things in those standards do require you to be an integrated telco offering, so we're not compliant to those, but we're our overall Wave PTX architecture is based on the 3GPP standard. We have integration into the data capabilities, multimedia capabilities, group and private calls, and we have private and group text messaging. So last slide here before into Q&A, sort of why Wave PTX. We know there's offerings out there, it's a competitive market, so we feel we've got a complete solution, smartphone app, PC dispatch, TLK series devices and the Moto Turbo client. We don't have the largest range of sort of Motorola branded devices, but we do work with some of the rugged devices as well. So there are some certified other devices that will work, Android, Samsung devices and so on. AES encryption's used, so it's very secure. We've got a large install base. We have over 1 million users on the Wave PTX platform, or the Wave platform, including some of the carrier-based options. Location tracking, we are improving that, right? There are some things that we need to improve on with Wave, and location, the cadence, update periods, that's one of them for Wave. So coming shortly in a release, we'll be able to set that to 1 minute. We have video streaming, so that is of interest to any of your customers, let us know and we can set up a demonstration. We have our safeguard feature set. The wireline integration in the Moto Turbo is good, right? Being Motorola, you'd think that would be a case, but there is really good integration through into our own radio system there. TLK 100, 150, the feedback is that they're good devices. They just seem to be hitting the spot in terms of the ruggedness, the purpose-built design of them, and then the support of a large vendor behind these devices. Okay, so
thank you for your time, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this webinar. I really appreciate that you guys have taken time out of your busy days as well to spend this time with us. And the more interaction we have with you guys, the better it's going to be for all of us. You know, we're all out there trying to do business together, try and support each other and make this a better product. David, thank you so much for your time. It's appreciated. And Katie, thank you for your efforts in setting the webinar up. And folks, until our next one, which will be in a couple of weeks' time, au revoir. Thank you. Have a good afternoon, everybody. Bye-bye.